Each day, children are increasingly given devices that provide them access to the internet. These are in the forms of smartphones and video game consoles. Many parents are adamant on how this technology benefits their kids, while others strongly oppose this view. Is technology ultimately helpful or harmful to overall development of children? I think that technology is ultimately harmful. Research shows that development can be impacted by technology in their screen time. My first evidence point is from the PBS NewsHour article, Toddler Screen Time Linked to Slower Speech by Niskin Ugman. In this article, he goes on to say that screen time for toddlers is linked to slower speech development, and that children who spent more time with handheld screens were more likely to exhibit signs of a delay in expressive speech. He also found that this led to an increase in frustration and a tendency to act out and academic problems. What was interesting that the trend of these bad habits in children were seen regardless of the income level and the education of their parents. My second reference is from the Erickson Institute with the article Technology and Young Children in the Digital Age. In this article, they go on to say that technology use for children under 6 is almost universal, with 85% of kids in their study, and 72% of the parents in that study had concerns about technology use. These concerns include too much screen time, inappropriate content, the commercials aimed at these kids on their devices, it disrupts sleep, and it takes time from time outdoors and enjoying active play. A small number of these parents reported that only their pediatrician talked with them about technology use. This means that they didn't really know who else to turn to for these problems besides, maybe family members and their friends, but their pediatrician was also one person that could talk with them, and they were actually the most trusted person to go to. Now, I have a personal story about kids with technology, like taking time for their, time outdoors, enjoying active play. I'm sure we all know about iPad kids, and these are kids with their parents use the iPad to basically babysit them, I guess. And you see them, like this, the supermarket or something like that. And I was at a basketball game a few weeks ago, and there was these two kids behind me, my friends. I think one had an iPad and I think one had a Switch. And the entire time, like during the entire game, even when, the team scored and we're all standing up and clapping, they were just like this on their phone. Not the phone, their Switch, just the whole time. My third reference is from the CBS YouTube video game violence is linked to bad behavior. And they go on to say that 97% of children ages 12 to 17 play on some type of device, often daily, with some of the favorite games they play rated mature or for ages 18 and older. This isn't a link to violence per se, but it is a link to aggressive and bad behavior for any child. My fourth reference is from JAMA Pediatrics in their paper, Mediators and Moderators of Long-Term Effects of Violent Video Games on Aggressive Behavior. In this paper, they say that younger children had a larger increase in initial aggressive cognition related to initial violent gameplay. This means that the younger the child is, the more susceptible to the aggressive behavior they are. They also say that habitual violent video game play increases long-term aggressive behavior by producing general changes in aggressive cognitions regardless of sex, age, initial aggressiveness, and parent involvement. This means that regardless of the kid's circumstances, these games can generally increase their aggressive behavior and stuff like that. My fifth reference is the Time article, Too Much Screen Time Can Have Lasting Consequences for Young Children's Brains by Alice Park. And Park goes on to talk about the study by Sherry Madigang in Singapore, where they studied 2,441 mothers with children ages 2 to 5. And most of these children did have behavioral issues and developmental delays. Now, they found that the parents of these children were more likely to use movies, TV, or video games to calm or quiet their child, and that these children were spending 2 to 3 hours a day in front of a screen. They say that results show that there is a lasting influence of screen time, especially when children are 2 to 5 years old and their brains are undergoing a period of tremendous development. This means that, like I said earlier, the younger the child is, especially ages 2 to 5, the more susceptible their brains are to this kind of behavior from the screen time. My sixth evidence point is from the think tank for the European Parliament, and they found out that enabled by digital technologies, child sex offenders have tapped into opportunities that were previously unavailable to communicate freely and directly with each other and children. And this also saw an increase in grooming and extortion of children worldwide over the past 20 years. especially nowadays because the internet is growing so fast. The Internet Watch Foundation estimates there are at least 1 million active child sex offenders at any given point. And a study in Ireland shows that more than 90% of children in that country, ages 8 to 12, own a device and most likely have been contacted by strangers online. And technology helps sex offenders stay undetected through the use of encryption, and sexual abuse has increased significantly during the pandemic on the surface open web and the hidden dark web. Now, I do have a personal story related to this topic. I was, I think, 11 or 12 at the time, and I was playing Minecraft, which I would always play as a kid, and I was obsessed with this Minecraft YouTuber named log.zip, and in this Minecraft server, some guy approached me, and he asked me for I think my kick, and I didn't have a kick at the time, and so I made a kick to talk to this guy, and I said I was the Minecraft YouTuber, and I guess this guy, had a great liking to that guy. I bet he thought he was really handsome, and so he sent me a picture of his genitalia, and it was really weird. I mean, I don't think I was groomed per se, because he thought I was, some Minecraft YouTuber, but it was very weird. And that happened about 6 years ago, so especially now, with the increase in this stuff, you can imagine how much is happening today. And in conclusion, I believe that technology is ultimately harmful for children's development, and screen time is linked to slower speech, acting out, and academic problems. The parents' concern with screen time and technology use is ever increasing, and is also linked with aggressive behavior, and the younger the child is, the more effective they can be, and there's a definite lasting influence for young children. And also has increased amount of predatory child abuse. Because of these things, I do believe that technology is ultimately harmful for children's development, and I believe that the cons outweigh the pros. So please consider my opinion, and thank you for your time.